I acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the stolen land on which this video was recorded and edited on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I extend that respect to the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia. I also pay respect to the elders both past, present and emerging. Sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Oh my god.
Hello, welcome to this vlog. This is Editing Abby. Just wanted to say a quick heads up that this will be spoilers, and I do mention Queen of Air and Darkness and some spoilers for Queen of Air and Darkness, but I put the book cover on the screen when I'm talking about Queen of Air and Darkness spoilers. Enjoy.
Hello, sweet cheeks. Okay, I am sleepy, but the time has come for Chain of Iron by Cassie Clare. This is my first time reading it, and I'm going to capture my thoughts. I'm going to start it right now. I am nervous. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I'm nervous about this book. I haven't heard good things. I'm terrified. I'm a James stan. I do love Matthew though. I do love him. But he's just not for Cordelia. He's just not for Cordelia. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. This edition is really fun because it has some like illustrations in it. The fairy lights are reflecting off of this so cheekily. Wish me luck. Just a little update. I've only read the prologue. Why are fucking prologues so fucking boring? Every time. Get the motivation to start a new book. Prologue! I'm gonna heat this wheat pack up because it's bloody freezing in Australia right now. So far, not loving things. Okay, I thought I would update my thoughts on Chain of Thorns. I'm currently on page 106. I'm actually really enjoying it so far. I'm surprised how much I am enjoying it. I think maybe because I went in with lower expectations, I'm enjoying it more. What is going on? What is going on? What is this? No, no, no. Not fucking James showing up while they're kissing. Oh my god, that's so scandalous. James! I feel like this scene is about to fuck me up. I'm on page 130. Tell her! Just fucking tell her! Oh, I know he's not gonna tell her. Why is he so thick? Why would he not just fucking tell her? He literally says, only free choice was love. And how do you have free choice if you do not have the whole truth in front of you? Why the fuck? Oh. Why would he not just tell her? This book is really fucking me out. I knew it was too good to be true that Matthew was sober. I dog-eared page 108 because Matthew actually said something really iconic and I really just wanted to share it. He's talking about why they're in Paris. He says, "We are not here just to forget," Matthew said, "but also to remember that there are good and beautiful things in this world always, and mistakes do not take them from us. Nothing takes them from us. They are eternal." I just love that. I hate the miscommunication trope. Oh my god, also such a cute little scene when Christopher visits Grace in the Silent City. So cute. And she says that Christopher's not that attractive. Like, I'm pretty sure he's that one. I'm actually loving the little snippets that we're getting of Ariadne and Anna. I'm just feeling really, really giddy that I'm finally, after at I guess 15 or so Shadowhunter books, I finally have a sapphic story in my hands, and it's sad that it's taken that long. I wish it was the main storyline, but I am enjoying that we're getting way more of their story this book. James is really fucking me up actually. Oh, him being so upset. oh baby. And like he had that dream where he learned some Turkish and was talking to Cordelia, and so special. It's so romantic when someone learns your language in order to like better speak with you. Oh, honestly, that's my fucking love language. Oh, also like this page 84, and it says, he had thought he missed her before, had thought he had been tormented with regret. He realized now that having had his father and Magnus always present, having had a mission on which to focus, had blunted his feelings. He had not even begun to imagine the pain he could feel. He understood now why poets damned their hearts, their capacity for desolation and want. Nothing in the false enchantment of love he had felt for Grace had come near this. His mind had told him that his heart was broken, but he had not felt it, not felt all the jagged pieces of shattered hope like shards of glass inside his chest. He thought of Dante. There is no greater sorrow than to recall in misery the time when we were happy. And just like how he goes on about Cordelia and how in love with her he is, it kills me. It's absolute torture. And like this bit as well, he could see her resting her chin on her gloved hand. He could see her face before him, her eyes shining dark and fathomless. He could see her turning that gaze up to Matthew, cheeks flushed, lips parted. He knew he was torturing himself as if he'd been running the fine, sharp edge of a dagger across his skin, and yet he could not stop. And that's how I feel. I feel tortured. And I fucking know we're not gonna get a scene with them for a fucking while. Ugh. Something else I'm really enjoying is the fact that like all of the adults are finding out about things. Like Will and Magnus like know the full story. Like everybody knows that Jesse is like alive. Well, not everybody, but the main crew. And it's just so satisfying to finally have fucking adults in on this and more resources at our disposal. Something else that I was worried about, although now I'm not so worried about it, I just made a note of it earlier on in the chapters, but I'm still going to mention it just in case, was that Malcolm, I was worried that he was going to like turn on them, and I still am slightly worried, but I don't know what causes him to be the villain that we know him to be in Queen of Air and Darkness, because in this he's still quite like sorrowful and sad. I don't know if like time makes him that villain, or if like something's gonna happen in this book that like sets him on his path to be that villain. But I know that this is like a couple 100 years before the events of Queen of Air and Darkness, so I think it's gotta be time or loneliness or something. But yeah, I was just a bit worried because he was going out all day, and then so I was just like, oh, that's a little bit sus. Something that I thought about that's making me sad is I've never been to Paris, and it's really hard to picture these scenes. There's a lot of French words. I wish I just knew. But I am actually enjoying, surprisingly, the Paris scenes with Cordelia and Matthew more than I thought I would. He's being very, very sweet. And, you know, I love Matthew. I really do. Like, he's not... Like, I am a James girly, you know? But that doesn't mean I don't have love for Matthew, you know? It's like, I'm a Will girly, but I love Jem. I'm also like a little bit sus. Like, is he really sober? It kind of seems too good to be true. I would hope that he doesn't lie to Cordelia. Just got up to the bit where she's trying to go back to the cabaret and someone's like, no entrance for you, Paladin. So somehow people are finding out that she's Lilith's Paladin, which is concerning. And the fun thing about this edition is it has like little illustrations, and the next chapter is like the first illustration. But I learned the hard way that the illustrations are actually spoilery. I mean, of course they are, but like I don't know why I didn't consider that. So I'm not looking at them anymore. Also, not everything can be fixed by being in Paris, Matthew. Love you, bestie. But that's just not how life works. Grace's POV, like, in the Silent City, that was really intriguing. I'm actually really enjoying the character development of Grace. Like, in the first book, we don't really know her, and then in the second book, we kind of get to know her through Lucy, and she's becoming, like, more of a, like, well-rounded character for me, and I really, really love that. And she's seeming to be, like, quite remorseful for what she's done, and she's really just a girlie who was trying to do what she could with who she had at the time, which was her horrible mum, and the resources that she was given, which was given to her by Belial. And like, I do feel sorry for her. I do. And I want her to be happy with Christopher. I just don't know if we're all getting out of this alive. I'm terrified. I'm gonna go to bed now, but see you in the next clip. Hello! An update on my reading. I am up to page 177, chapter 11, and honestly, oh wow. Honestly, I'm really enjoying it so far, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to picking it up every evening, and the scene we just had was Thomas coming out to Matthew, and it's just what I love about these books, the found family that it has. I really love it. Maybe you guys are watching this and you're like, ha ha ha, ha, like you don't know what's coming for you, and maybe that's true, but so far I am not hating it. Is it frustrating? Yes. Do I love the characters? Yeah. I've just been reading on the balcony and it's been raining and the wind is just so like crisp and like refreshing, and the air smells like the earth and like it's just been a really lovely night. I think it's like almost 1 a.m. actually. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was really worried because Chris was like working on this invention of like instant messaging basically through fire, and it's really cool. Then I was thinking about like the other series and how they don't have that, and then I was like, oh, maybe like Christopher dies and like he doesn't have time to finish this invention and that's why it doesn't exist in any of the other books. But then I realized in the other books, they have like literally phones that do the same thing. So it probably just like gets phased out. And I just think that's like really great world building, honestly. I want to go to there. Even though being a shadow hunter fucking would be so much pressure. Okay, coming at you from my bathroom right now. I am gonna go to sleep. It's currently 10:56 p.m. and I'm just gonna do my skincare before we go to bed. I thought I'd update you on my thoughts before I went to bed. So I'm currently on page 335, chapter 20. We're at the Christmas party and Anna and Ari have just gone onto the dance floor to start dancing the night away, and it's making me so happy. I love their perspectives, and honestly that leads me to something that I wanted to say about this book, is that I'm actually like not hating any of the POVs. Every single like person I'm like happy to hear from. Like sometimes when you get like dual POV books, one's really boring and then the other's like really interesting and you really don't, it's really a drag to get through the other one. But that's actually not happening with this one, surprisingly. And they all like feel like different people as well, which is really nice because there's a lot of different characters and you would think that would happen, but I'm really enjoying it. I also feel like I am like understanding where all of the characters are at, especially like Cordelia. Like she's really about being a hero and seems like that identity has kind of been stripped from her, and it makes sense that she's seeming to be a little bit lost. But yeah, I just feel like the character arcs are going well. Who knows though what's gonna happen. Oh my gosh, yeah, no, we have to talk about the scene where all of the boys find out about Matthew's addiction and they all go over to his house and like crash there. They have like a slumber party with Oscar and it's just so cute. It was such a cute scene and it was like so heartwarming. I love found family tropes, and honestly I'm gonna be really sad when I finish this book because even if I don't like the ending of the novel, like I'm still really enjoying being with all of these characters. And I feel like this book is doing a really good job to actually get to all of those characters, where I feel like the earlier books you're only really focusing on like Lucy, Cordelia, James, whereas like we're getting much more of Thomas, we're getting much more of Alistair, we're getting much more of like Christopher as well. Like I've been loving his cute little like scenes with Grace. Again, like the found family aspect, like Alistair being invited to like come to the Merry Thief meeting about what they're gonna do. Oh, it was so cute. I loved it. Oh, another really cute scene that I loved was Ari and Anna going to get her bird and them like having a little rendezvous like in this abandoned house. Yeah, I'm really loving it, honestly. Like I'm scared. I'm nervous for like what's to come. Oh,
And I'm also loving the unexpected friendship with Jessie and James. I really wasn't expecting it, but it's so nice. It's making Jessie feel like a really well-rounded character. Them sharing bonded trauma with Belial. Trauma bond. Something really interesting that I read was this random ass scene, and it's on page 332, and it's this random girl, Esme Hardcastle, and she's talking about writing a family tree and how it's going to be inaccurate, which is really fucked because we have a family tree of these people in this book, and James and Cordelia do end up together, which is pretty much the only thing that's keeping me sane at this point, because that's confirmed. But is she saying through that scene that that's not confirmed anymore? Because that's a really fucked up way to do it. To say oh, don't trust the family trees, bestie, because they're not accurate. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I'm choosing to ignore it at this moment. Another really fun line that I really love is, it's actually not fun. It's actually heart-wrenching, and it's actually not good in the way that it's so good. Look, I don't know. Anna's watching James at this point. She loves to people watch. Me too, girl. But the line is, she was watching James as he looked at Cordelia as if he were longing for the moon. Oh, I want someone to look at me like I'm longing for the moon, and I want to look at someone like I'm longing for the moon. Reminder tonight, or if you're watching this at night, go look at the moon and wish upon a star. Plot-wise, these are my thoughts. I feel like something's going on with the Silent Brothers. Belial, when he met up with Augustus Pounceby, or I think that's his name, was outside of where the Silent Brothers go to rest, and it was mentioned that they're not dead or something, they're not alive, and it's kind of reminded me of Jesse in his half alive, half dead space, and that Belial's gonna get demons to possess the Silent Brothers, because in that scene with I can't remember her name, but the Muggle girlie, not Muggle, sorry, wrong fandom. The girlie with the sight, I can't remember her name, and she gets possessed to come to the, look, I'm not explaining this very well, hopefully you get what I'm talking about. But it was just weird that the Silent Brothers were calling her in there, but they don't really seem like the Silent Brothers. And if they were the Silent Brothers, then the Silent Brothers should be able to connect minds and stuff, they can hear each other's thoughts. Jem would know about it, surely. Pretty sure every time I said Silent Brothers just then. Or I was also thinking he might be using the body of ghosts, because Lucy has mentioned how she can hear these voices when she taps into the darkness, and that something's been taken from them. So I don't know if it's their bodies, or I don't know, but I think Belial's creating an army, something to do with that, and that's why Lucy's integral to this whole thing, and maybe Belial underestimates her, so that's how they're able to win. I don't know, this is just me theorizing. Something else that I wrote down is about Malcolm, and how Lucy said that she's gonna summon Annabelle so that Malcolm can say goodbye, and that's concerning, because I feel and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I can't remember specifically, but from what I do remember, when Malcolm raises Annabelle from the dead, she kills him instantly, and we never found out why. Maybe she was just annoyed at being raised from the dead, but yeah, we never found out why. So I don't know, I feel maybe the stories are gonna connect and we're gonna find out why. Maybe Lucy raises Annabelle and they have a conversation, and Annabelle's don't raise me, and Malcolm's she's just kidding, and then he does it anyways. I don't know. That's just my theory, but I could be completely off. We may not even see her. But yeah, those are my thoughts so far. I don't think I have anything else to add, other than I'm about halfway through and I'm really enjoying it. It's really pissing me off that James has still not told Cordelia about the fucking bracelet. He's such a silly goof. He's such a silly goof. And he needs to seriously get a grip. I did not think that Grace was going to be the one to tell James, but it's seeming that way. Also, the fact that I'm halfway through this book, Grace is on the cover and she's been stuck in the Silent City this entire time. It's very strange. Honestly, it's slay that all the girlies are on the front covers. Anyways, I think that is my final thoughts. What the fuck? I'm so annoyed. Let me fucking set this camera up. Why the fuck have we not gotten the scene where Cordelia finds out? We've waited 2.5 fucking chonky ass books for her to finally find out, and we don't even get the scene where she finds out? so annoyed. I hate when people do that. I hate when books and TV shows and movies skip the scene of recognition and they just jump to the part where they know and then there's like the resolution. I want to see her reaction of finding this out. Anyway, I'm on chapter 23. I thought I would record because they're about to, it's Cordelia's perspective, and Cordelia's asked James to meet her at Curzon Street. And why do I feel like, I don't know, it just feels too good to be true. Oh, I love her like running, chasing, hug, slam hug scene. Not that without you I cannot breathe. Why am I getting flashbacks to Queen Charlotte? I cannot breathe when you are not near, Charlotte. I love you. There's a fucking illustration on this page. And it's criminal! It's criminal! I can't look at it! I thought you were in love with Grace, she said. I was too proud to tell you I loved you when I thought you had given your heart to someone else. We have both been too proud, James. You feared I would pity you. Voice rose incredulous. Belial wove an enchantment, a band of silver and the darkest magic to bind you. Most would have crumbled. You fought it. All this time you have been fighting a silent battle entirely alone while nobody knew. You fought it and you broke it, snapped it in half. The most incredible thing. How could I ever pity that? Stop it! She felt his chest rise and fall against hers. With his quick breaths, he said, I did not break the enchantment knowingly. Yes, I fought it without knowing I was fighting. But what snapped the band was the force of what I felt for you. He gathered up a handful of her tumbling hair, let the strands slip through his fingers. There was wonder in his eyes as he looked at her. If it were not for you, my Daisy, I would have belonged to Belial long ago, for there is no one in this world my most beautiful, maddening, adorable wife that I could ever have loved. Half as much as I have loved you, my heart beats for you, said only ever you. Cordelia burst into tears. Me too. Oh my god. I need. I need to fucking reread that. Rewind. There were tears of relief, happiness, joy, and even desire. There might not have been anything else she could have done that would have so thoroughly convinced him she meant what she said. Daisy, Daisy, began to kiss her. Wildly, he bet her bare throat, the tears on her cheeks, her collarbone returning over and over to her mouth. She arched up against him, kissing back as hard as she could, as if the motion of her lips were against his words. This is all I ever wanted and more. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need a minute. No. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. Oh my god, not the tangled confessions. No. Look at the illustration. How does one, because my self-control was hanging on by the thinnest thread. I pictured myself lunging at you. You absolutely horrified by what I wanted to do to you. I would not have been horrified, Cordelia said, looking at him steadily. I want you to do things to me. I want to do things to you. I need a therapist. What is that? Okay,
carrying her up the stairs. he fired the lock. Oh my god. How much detail is she gonna freaking go into? I am not prepared. I need to put the book in the freezer. It's not okay. Oh my god. Okay. Get a grip. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. I'm on page 400 just for reference. Wow. He really respects the dress to ask. And consent, of course. Please, she said, not really knowing what she was asking for. James! Tearing the dress! Oh my god, it's so scandalous. He was braced over her on his hands. She reached up and encircled his upper arms as much as she could with her fingers. She could feel the tension in his muscles, stone hot under her touch. This was their wedding night, terribly delayed. And he wanted what happened in the books. Wanted her to give herself to him, wanted to take her. And though she did not know precisely what that meant, she wanted it too. She ached for him, but he was holding back for her, and it gave her the courage to say, "James, have you ever before with Grace?" He looked puzzled for a moment, his face darkened. "No, we kissed. I never wanted anything beyond that. I suppose the bracelet kept me from noticing how strange that was. I thought perhaps that it was not in my nature to want." There's no fucking way. He let his eyes roam over her, making her skin prickle. That was wildly inaccurate. "You can say that again. Yeah, you can say that again." "Then this is your first?" Oh my god. This is his first. I mean, it makes sense. He never had anybody else, but like, you are all my firsts? Oh my god, stop! The pulp changes! No, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. I only have this much left of this scene. I'm scared. We changed to Cordelia. False alarm. False alarm. Okay. Get a grip! They just said, I cannot. Jesus. They're in the bathtub together! No. No. I simply cannot. Oh, God. But the way he looked at her dispelled it as if he had never seen anything so miraculous. Oh, I love that word. I love that word. Are they going to do the runes right now? Right here, right now? What's wrong with my eye? Please, this is not the time. No, you placed bubbles on it. This is not okay. Oh, yes, please. Finally, fucking tell everybody about the bracelet. Not the curly hair. Her knees on either side of him? Oh my god. You look like a water goddess. These men just don't exist. It was rather overwhelming, the manner in which he seemed to admire, even worship her body. She had never seen a man naked, only Greek statues, and when she looked at James, she began to see what the point of the statues was. Kill me. Oh, a little bit of a protective streak. I never want anyone to see you like this but me. Oh, that's cute. Constant declarations of love? How ghastly. Simply not okay, simply not okay, simply not okay, simply not okay. Chapter 23, you ruined me. She had not realized quite how portable the act of love was,
or what it was like for wet bodies to slide against each other. Matthew. Poor Matthew. I feel for him, I really do. I adore discussing domestic details with you, said James, and kissed the inside of her wrist where her pulse beat. It's true. The arm behind the head? Not okay. James sighed and rolled onto his back. He put an arm behind his head, which made Cordelia want to run her hands over all the different muscles in his shoulders and chest. Look how cheeky they are! Daisy, darling, that's simply not okay. Oh my god! Stop being cute, I can't. By all means, let us tell him how important he is to us both, but it would help neither of us to pretend or to lie. We are married and we will remain married and in love until the stars burn out of the sky. I just can't. Why are they so cute? I could cry. I could cry. That is very poetic, said Cordelia, rather the sort of thing Lord Byron Mandrake would have said to the beautiful Cordelia. I believe she was promised a herd of stallions, said James, which I cannot provide. Well, what use are you then? Cordelia wondered out loud. Is that a challenge, my proud beauty? He demanded, and drew her toward and under him, until her giggling turned into kisses, and then into gasps, and she wrapped herself around him in the depths of the bed that was theirs now, that would always be theirs. I just can't. Oh, also, just like a quick side note, like how cute my Cordelia bookmark is. It seems like a bad idea that they're leaving town. Oh no. Oh, not Tatiana. Who is this fucking silent brother? Maybe, is it Belial? No. Oh, poor Grace. I'm so sorry. Chapter 24. I think I'm done for the night. I do have some other thoughts I should actually update you on. Oh my gosh, yeah. One of them is like, I keep getting paranoid that people aren't who they say they are. Like, it's like a demon impersonating somebody. Like, I thought at one point Tessa, when she like goes down to the carriage and like gives some words of aff to Cordelia, I thought that may not have been her, because it says like it was out of character, and then in like the paragraph before it says she was acting out of character as well, but it wasn't. And then someone else as well. Oh, Christopher. So clearly I have some like demon impersonating people trauma from these books. Oh, I really enjoyed the start of chapter 23 when they were talking about Cordelia's nightmares. Was it chapter 22? Yeah, the start of chapter 22. It just seems like so genuine to Cordelia's character that this need to protect the people that she loves has like been taken away from her, and now she has like dreams about it or nightmares about it. I feel like it's just like good character building, and I really love her. I feel like it's still my favorite series. I'm actually really loving it, and I'm like nervous because so many people said they don't like it and I don't know why, but I am excited to like watch other people's videos and see what their thoughts are. I was gonna say like not much is happening with like the fantasy plot, but specifically like Belial. Like we keep seeing Tatiana, but nothing's like exactly happening with Belial at the minute, and like for the entirety of the book we haven't had like any scenes with him except for like when they're spying on him. But yeah, it is concerning. Also, yeah, another thing I was gonna say was about Charles. I was gonna say, how did he turn out to be so annoying? But then I think we pretty much figured out that he has been being blackmailed, and that's why he's like a little bit more insufferable than usual. But still, it's interesting. Like, I feel like I would like to have known what's been going on with Charles, like, in his life, for him to, like, have this need to have such, like, a career. But I guess we kind of do know it because of his sexuality. He feels like his legacy, he can only have a career, like, he can't get married to a woman or have kids. But still, I feel like what would make him not turn to his parents? I mean, I guess that's... people just don't sometimes, but I feel like Charlotte and Henry would support him through that, no? Is that a Binky coming out? It is a Binky! Come say hello! She
She's having a little nap under my blankies. Oh, she's so beautiful. She's so sleepy. And you want to stretch it? P for papas. It's a papa's party. P for papas. It's a papa's party. Look at her. No, Christopher dying. I can't take this. Vera. I really need to just go back like 1 minute ago when I didn't know that Christopher fucking dies. Okay, hello. I am up to page 614. I have about 60 pages or something to go. I'm getting nervous about what's gonna happen. I only have one more illustration right there, and I haven't spoiled myself for it. And I thought I'd update my thoughts because I'm obviously going to be finishing it soon and I have things to comment on, things to say. First of all, let's just quickly say where we're at. So James is possessed by Belial. Cordelia and Lucy have rescued Matthew from Edom, brought him back. Anna and Ari have snuck in shadow hunters to help fight the battle, and yeah, things are riling up. The battle has begun apparently. Yeah, it's all about to go down. I'm quite nervous. One thing I wanted to mention is I'm really happy that Lucy and Cordelia have now like made up and they're besties again. However, the story that Lucy wrote about Cordelia, if a friend wrote that about me, I'd be so upset. I don't know how she just thinks it's hilarious. I don't know if that's just me being a sensitive little Cancer placement, but yeah, it was so weird that she like laughed that off. It was so strange to me. Another thing that I'm like so confused about is Belial possessing James. Like, the mechanics of this is confusing me. Like, Belial is in James's body, but Belial can't hear James's thoughts unless he projects them in his mind to Belial. It's so confusing. Like, you would think Belial being in James's body would mean that Belial is in James's brain and therefore has James's memories, James's thoughts. Like, he can see all of that information about James and therefore would be able to see that James has a plan. Like, how is James hiding information from him? It's confusing me. I don't get it. Like, does Belial have a brain? And if so, where is his brain? And if not, is he using James's brain? Do Prince of Hells have brains? Where does his consciousness sit? If he's not in James's brain, how is he moving James's body? I don't get it. I don't know why this matters so much, but it just feels like a plot hole. Like, why is this not spoken about? It kind of reminds me of this TikTok that I saw about where you think your consciousness resides. Like, if you think about you in your body or like your soul, where do you think that you live in your body? To me, I feel like it's got to be like here. That's where I live. I saw some people say they live in their heart and their abdomen, and then some like behind their lip. It's whoa vibes. Comment down below, where do you think you live in your body? I did kind of think that James being possessed by Belial was kind of inevitable, but it's like inevitable and kind of predictable. I don't know if that's just me. Let me know what you thought. But I saw this video on TikTok about writing, and it said like, if a character has a fear, then you usually make that fear come true. And I don't think I've ever looked at books the same, because it's so true. It happens so often. So I kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, even in the first few books, like, I eventually knew that was going to happen. He was going to have to try and work his way through it. I assumed somehow, like, Jesse did eject him from his body or something. We will soon find out. Actually, one iconic thing that I wanted to mention was Charles having stunning character growth and telling the council that he was being blackmailed. I'm really pulling through with that. Yeah, love him for that. But honestly, I think I'm going to keep recording for my reactions. So at the moment, we're in Cordelia's POV and she's just gotten back to London from
going to eat him. Just gone through the portal. How is it that Matthew just happens to know that there's multiple ways to get into the cathedral? This is something that frustrates me sometimes about fantasy books, but specifically I've noticed it a bit in this book, is that everything, or just like little things, seem like become so convenient. Like that example, Matthew just knowing another few ways to get into the cathedral that we've literally not been in once in this entire book. Anyways, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just like a little nitpicky thing. Jesse and Lucy are just full on making out in the middle of this battle. And I bet Grace is like, what the fuck? Time and a place. But like obviously it's part of her plan. It's just hilarious. Lucy, you're taking risks. You're taking risks. I'm scared for you. I really am. 11. Whoa, last chapter. And then an epilogue. The fuck? I'm scared. Okay, let's do this. Cordelia ran. Do we know that the sword has healing powers? I don't remember that in Queen of Air and Darkness. Is that well known? I mean, clearly it's true. She just like healed her wound on her hand. But I don't remember that when Emma has it. What the heck? He looked at her. His eyes were still golden, full of sorrow. Daisy, he said, and plunged the sword into his own heart. And then it just changes pov. Like nothing fucking happened. That was so cute. You will not leave me, Anna said fiercely. I want you to stay with me at Percy Street. I do not want you to move to some flat somewhere with sconces. Ari was shaking her head, smiling. Oh God, not the next line. Cordelia screamed. Feels like I don't know if both of like Lucy and James are gonna get out of this. Bridget? Who's Bridget? Huh? Have I forgotten the main character? I'm so confused. Okay. What is it? One of the house people? People who look after the house? So God just like removed the roof of the cathedral and then just popped it back on. Interesting, I just had a thought. Like, I know that Belial can't die, and then they gave him the 3 wounds, and he is sort of dead, but he also gets beamed back up to God or whatever, and he can only possess his direct descendant or something. Is it his direct descendants or all of his descendants? Because in Queen of Air and Darkness, Jem and Tessa have a kid. So is that like gonna be relevant at all? Maybe not. It's 1:11 a.m. She wore a dress made of the feathers of owls. Was she the owl sitting in the top of the cathedral? I feel like it was the owl. We never got to know why James can fire the gun and Lucy can't. I think I've got to call it there. I'm so tired. I'm on page on... See, I've got to sleep. I'm on page 650. I need to absolutely crash. I'll finish it tomorrow. Right now, I can rest easy. This is a bit of a new setup, a bit of a different setup, and I kind of love it. It's kind of cute. I just feel like trying something new, you know? When the opportunity presents itself, you seize it. So great, that's exactly what I wanted. My laptop to be dying when I need the notes on my laptop. And you don't seem to... Let's discuss Chain of Thorns, my final thoughts. So I've actually already edited the rest of this video, and I feel like I really did need to recap my ending thoughts, but also I've kind of made some notes on what I've said in the past in the video, because obviously it was a while ago that I read this now. So the way I was literally so close to predicting Christopher's death, and yet so far, it's so far away. I also feel like it was a missed opportunity to have a little moment for Malcolm's like villain origin story. I do feel like that's what she did, but it wasn't clear to me like why he switched. I guess he was just driven by love, but I don't know, there was a lot of hatred for the Blackthorns. I think maybe just over centuries, I guess. Or maybe we'll get a short story about it. Again, the plot with the Silent Brothers. I was literally so close to solving it, and yet so far. I know there's a lot of talk about the family tree, and I really wish we did have a family tree in this book, even if it was just like at the start, and I would really love like just where we're at, like not even like James and Cordelia connected or anything, but just like so I can remember whose kids are whose, because I can't remember. And like looking up the other looking up the family tree that we currently have is, number one, like it's a spoiler, and number two, well, it was a spoiler, like, before I read the series. And number two, it's not accurate anymore. So I would have loved to have just had, like, a family tree of, like, Will, Tessa, then, like, Tessa's parents and then grandparents, and then, like, Will's parents, and then Cecily, and then Gabriel, and then, yeah, like, and just seeing how that all connected and then flowed to just the characters in this book, and, like, have none of them be connected. Also, I just wanted to add to that little comment that I made about Charles, and that I was glad that he came out. I also was reflecting on it, I was like, it's actually quite sad as well that he was forced to out himself. Yeah, I'm obviously glad that he did, but yeah, it was still, like, a sad moment. Let's talk about, like, a little bit about the ending. So the chapter with Jem at the end surely has to tie in with the wicked powers, like, surely. And that little, like, caveat to Lucy's story with the wicked powers, I loved that little Easter egg line. It was really cute, because Belial being like reincarnated surely has to be like part of the wicked powers trilogy, otherwise why would that be included? I was thinking about James and Cordelia's relationship, and I feel like their main like fight that's going to be happening in the next years and years of their relationship is going to be communicating. Like, they really need to work on their communication. And like, now that they're together, I hope that they can obviously work through that, but it just was clear to me that that's like the make or break of their relationship. I'd also love to know if Lucy does publish her book in the future. That would be really fun. I was honestly expecting that to kind of happen in this book, but I mean, she's still young, obviously. And I hope, like, if we get any short stories, like, it'll be sort of revolved around that. The Cordelia and Lucy parabatai ceremony, it was like an additional chapter or something. It was very underwhelming. And I feel like, I don't know if this is because the ceremony evolves over time, but when she talks about the ceremony with Julian and Emma in The Dark Artifices, I just feel like that ceremony was way cooler. It was like a series of tests, and I was looking forward to that. But I mean, I guess the ghost element was alright. Clearly like underwhelmed by it, but that's okay. I also felt like the part where Lucy and Cordelia go into the demon realm was a bit redundant. But then it kind of also makes sense because he's a prince of hell and he's like a big bad. Like, it makes sense there'd be like a dragged on uphill battle to like defeat him. But yeah, I just don't know about the ending. I think it could have been done a bit better with that particularly. And also, like, Matthew jumped in at the last second when James was going with Belial, and I'm like wondering how, like, what was Belial's plan? Like, was he just gonna kidnap James and then force him to say yes? Because James only agreed because Matthew was dying. Also, something that I forgot to mention, when Tatiana like comes in and they have a weapon tree for like Christmas or whatever, it was just clearly so obvious that there was gonna be a fight. Also, what were the consequences of Lucy giving away Jesse's last breath to James? Did we ever find out? Let's talk about a few points that I noticed came up in a lot of people's critiques of this book. The first one is Christopher's death being underwhelming, and like a lot of people didn't really care about it. I feel like Christopher's death is such an interesting and nuanced topic. I haven't heard many people talk about this, but if you feel like the same, let me know, because I'd love to hear people's thoughts. Or if you don't feel the same, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. When it first happened, I was in like complete and utter shock and denial. It was insane. Like, I really thought he was coming back. It happened so quick. We didn't even get a scene of his death, like his actual death moment, because we were in like somebody else's point of view. And some people said that that wasn't a painful enough finale. Like, it didn't feel like a finale because we didn't get that like final heroic pain death scene. Like, and also just because a lot of people didn't feel like they were connected to Christopher. They also said that it was the easy way out. However, I've done a lot of reflection on it, and I think it's just like so much more painful and complex. In life, like when people die, you rarely get to be there for their final moments, the like dramatic moment of their death. So people die just so simply, like a switch is flicked. You're just in denial because it happened so fast, and it just feels like you could surely just flip the switch back because it was switched off so easily, and yet you can't. They're dead. It doesn't feel real. They are dead, and there is only now grief. I think that's what's so sad about Christopher's death, is that it's so indicative of real life loss. One minute they are there, and the next they are so easily gone. I don't think it's the kind of death we've seen a lot of in the Shadowhunter series, which is why I really loved it. Not loved it, it was horrible and painful, but I just felt like it was different and it was simple, and that made it all the more raw and painful. Like in the Shadowhunter books, they usually have a last line, a last dialogue, a goodbye, a dramatic sacrificial moment, but not all death is like that, and often it's not. And I think that reflects his character as well. He was not everyone's favorite. He was not particularly overt or extravagant, but quiet, humble, intelligent, lovable, kind one that was taken so easily, so quickly, so wastefully as well. Like, it wasn't even the final fight scene. It was like a filler fight. Seemed like a normal day they were going to get through without loss. And I feel like that's how loss can be so painful, because you feel like it's going to be a normal day. And also just taken so silently as well. That is what makes it painful, and that is what makes it heart-wrenching. Majority of the time you don't get a chance to say goodbye. Majority of the time you don't even know you needed to prepare one. Let's talk about one of the side characters. One of my fave side characters, Ari and Anna. I think it's sad reflecting back on this book how Ari and Anna were side characters. Like, whilst I really loved it and I enjoyed them two together, it's just so classic that the sapphic characters are just like the side characters. Like, we see it so much in media. So much in media. It's so painful. And specifically, LGBTQIA plus characters are always the side character in Cassie's Shadowhunter series. It's a bit disappointing because I knew that going into it, but I still feel like it's a valid criticism of her storytelling as a whole. But it's complex because it's like, do I really want a straight woman to be talking about the queer experience? I don't know. Nonetheless, I did really love their characters, and I am glad that they're part of the Shadowhunter world, because that means a lot, especially in this time period. Another thing that a few people mentioned in their wrap-up videos was that they thought Matthew was going to die, and I also thought Matthew was going to die. I'm surprised he didn't, because yeah, I feel like Matthew's and James's friendship could have been like fixed a little bit better. Like, they're parabatai, and parabatai, let's not forget, are meant to be rare. They're meant to be special, and I just don't know if I felt that from them. Also, I noticed a few people saying that Cassie's writing was a little bit weird and a little bit off this time around, and I don't feel like it was, like, personally for me. Maybe I'm just not perceptive enough to realize Cassie's writing, but to be fair, I did read the first 2 books of the series right before I read the 3rd one. I didn't notice any writing changes. Maybe I don't have the tools to notice it. I didn't even realize that the like Cordelia Rand line was overdone. Like, I noticed the line, but it didn't register to me that it was a line that she kept using. But I do think the plot was a little bit lost in this book. Not that I'm complaining, because I love character-based stories, but I do agree with people when they say, like, this could have been split into 2 books. But don't drag out the James and Cordelia thing any more than they already did. Like, make James and Cordelia be together in this book, and then have the next book where they really delve into the villain, Matthew, all of those little side relationships. Like, really just like get into the nitty-gritties of them. Now, this brings me to the love triangle. It's hot discussion. And I have things to say. Personally, I think the love triangle made a lot of sense. Specifically where the characters were in their arcs, I felt like it made a lot of sense. Cordelia was so lost, and I feel like when you're lost, you act out of character, or, you know, you make silly decisions. And with Matt, like, it's not to say that he didn't have any real feelings for Cordelia, because I do really love her character, and I feel like, you know, it's not a surprise that these 2 men were crushing on her. And I did think that he had some real feelings, but I do think that what gets taken out of this conversation is that he is struggling really bad with addiction. And addiction can very easily turn into you distracting yourself with love interests and trying to like lose yourself in every other aspect in your life so you don't have to face this like addiction that you're struggling with. Say hello to the people. However, do I think that Cassie could have addressed this better at the end of his character arc? Yes. I don't feel like his story was really wrapped up very well. Like him just going around traveling, I don't know that that's gonna really help, but I'm glad that he's being honest with his family. Let's also talk about his reaction when Cordelia said that like she was basically choosing James. I do think he was acting like out of pocket and aggressive. However, I do think it's very indicative of somebody who's really hurting, and he also has like this deeply rooted trauma in not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy of love with this thing that happened with his family. And then to have that history and then to hear the one person that you're deeply in love with tell you that they don't feel the same about you would be soul crushing. It would be so painful and would like confirm all of your greatest fears about yourself as well. That's why I feel like that reaction didn't surprise me. And I really do have empathy of what he's going through. Do I think that it was a bad way to handle things? Yes. Do I think humans are messy and make mistakes? Yes. Do I think that he still deserves empathy and love? Yeah. Do I think Cordelia deserves an apology? Yes. It's also really interesting because I have heard a lot of discourse about like whether or not, depending on if you're a Jem girly versus a Will girly, will determine whether or not you're going to be a Will or a Matthew girly. And I feel like the obvious answer is if you're a Will girly, then you are a James girly. And I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that, but I can see, hear me out, I can see why people will say, if you're a Will girly, then you are a Matthew girly. And I can see this because of the whole, like, keeping a childhood secret because they felt unlovable, which is very interesting. And let me know what you think in the comments. I think it's interesting though, as well, the fact that they have, like, similar stories, but Matthew gets less empathy in this fandom than Will did. I don't know. I wonder if that has anything to do with addiction. If you have thoughts, let me know because I'd love to hear them. Finally, let's talk about Cordelia. A lot of people said that Cordelia was acting so out of character in this book and she's not the Cordelia that we know and love. And I would agree, but I feel like it makes so much sense with where her character's at. We come out of Chain of Iron and she's really, really hurt by Grace and James, and comes to like a final moment of recognition that they will not happen, like James and her. And like at least that's what she believes that happens in her eyes. She's distraught, she's young, let's not forget she's very young. She's hurting and she seeks comfort in the person that makes her feel free and light and unserious. And of course Cordelia and James are forever, but she's confused. And she doesn't have the full truth. We have the full truth, so it seems like she's acting out of pocket. But the thing about it is she's acting out of character because she's really hurting and she hasn't ever dealt with heartbreak before. Humans are messy and so is Cordelia, and I love her. I also don't think her reservations in Paris with James are out of pocket, and her needing like time to decide between the two of them I don't think is like surprising at all either. I'm gonna read my notes because it's just gonna be easier. I don't think her reservations when James shows up in Paris is about her needing time to decide between the two of them. I think she's conflicted because she doesn't know that now he doesn't have her, she wants her. Like it's not clear to her his intentions and his true love. Again, we as the audience know, but let's remember what she knows at this point in the story. She's acting in character in my opinion. Exactly, she's confused. That is why the paper in the necklace is so integral to her trusting his word, because it happened prior to her running away with Matthew and prior to James losing her. And it allowed her to trust him full-heartedly that he wanted to be with her from the beginning. Now, could Cassie have just had James tell Cordelia about the bracelets in the first place? Fuck yes, she could have done that and it would have been so much simpler. Is the necklace moment still stunning? Yes. Is the running and the hugging moment with her knowing the truth still stunning? Was it done in the best way that it could have? No. Also, something that I just wanted to mention that a lot of people I don't feel like talk about is shadow hunters and their pride. They are like raised and bred to be demon hunters.
Let's not forget, that's the premise of this story. That means they don't want to ask for help. They're very prideful. They don't want to seem weak. That's like the culture of being a shadow hunter. I feel like it makes sense that James didn't want to tell Cordelia and his parents and his friends. And they're also kids. They haven't learnt the important act of accepting love and feeling seen as a good thing. I feel like they do learn that in this story, and that's very special, I feel. Final thoughts. All hail found family trope. It's forever in my heart. Let me know what you thought in the comments, or if you feel like I missed anything, or if you have any responses to what I've said. I would love to have chats in the comments about it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching all of this video. I appreciate you if you're still here. If you are still here, put a little red rose in the comments. Sending you all love and peace. Be kind to yourself today. Bye.